just talking about like these fringe people. I mean,
Fringe.
I heard both.
My God. I was like, that's so mean. Not all French people are like.
French.
I love my French friends.
Welcome to the Boyfriends Podcast, where we help you find your circle
And your man.
I'm Jarrod D. King. I'm joined by Renee and Noel. And we are going to talk about he was gone, but then he's back and he's texting. And do I give this guy another chance? Here's the thing. I know that we kind of touched on this a couple of times, I think, in this podcast before. So I kind of want to swing it over to Noel and like see if we can get like a new
you already know my
answer.
Put a new spin on it because
I want to hear his answer.
I think mine comes from a different perspective because it could also be for friends. I'll have a friend that is around for a hot second, for a while, and then suddenly they're with someone and they kind of ghost you that way. And then the moment that they have that person go in their life, they come back to you. Mm-hmm. It's very frustrating because, like, I love consistency. And so when someone keeps doing that rotating door appearance and disappearing, coming back in my life, it frustrates me because they need to, like, kind of pick up again, kind of like not retrain yourself to be their friend. It's just like you have your friends that you don't see for a while, and then you get together and you're like, it's like nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. But some people, like, you kind of have to like reprogram yourself how they work. Yeah. And that's not fair to someone like me who is a consistent friend.
Yeah. I've had this conversation with friends before, and I feel like this is a little bit of a sore spot to kind of go through with me, with like anybody that I kind of...
We're literally the same on this topic.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what we're going to be able to bring to the table that people have not already heard.
But I just, it's like when I text you, like, text back. And it doesn't have to,
Is this for a friend or for...
For like a friend, yeah.
Okay.
When I throw something out there, acknowledge something, I need that acknowledgement. I don't like being ignored. That's one of those, like, instant, shitless things. It's
yeah.
But, I mean, as far as, like, somebody kind of completely, I won't say stepping out of a relationship, it's like cheating, but if you're just, like, gone, if you just, like, completely disappear, and then all of a sudden you want to do like a hey, how are you? Or hello or something. And it's just like, where have you been?
Or like a hey you.
Hey you.
Right.
Hey girl.
Sorry,
hey you.
Don't even bring that
honestly,
phrase towards me.
I think I've said this before on this podcast. It's like if you're going to make an attempt to come back, we both know that you decided to just kind of like disappear off the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. So let's start there. Why did that happen? Like, I think, and you said in the last episode where you would text a friend and then they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I was just so busy, blah, 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 but let's do this. Or like, they throw it back to you. Mm-hmm. It's not just and I think one of the things I think was like you dropped the ball or something, like we're like playing catch or something. I want to remember. I think it was like one of our past episodes where I was like,
it's like I feel like when it's just like life gets in the way, and that's fine. Yeah. As long as you acknowledge that I literally like completely ignored you for months. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I miss you. And like as long as you acknowledge, apologize, and then act on it to, fix things, I like that. I feel like that is top tier friendship. Yeah. It's like if they ghost you and then they come back in your life like, hey, I was a dick.
Yeah.
like so much stuff got into my life. Let me tell you about it.
I love when they own up to their own.
Yeah, when you own up, again, I like honesty. I don't want you to come back and just completely gaslight the situation.
Right. Let's talk relationships. Let's talk romantic, or let's talk dating. Okay. Mm-hmm. Has it ever gone well when you have entertained a ghoster?
No,
I never had like that like movie moment when like the guy comes back and like, I'm so sorry, I did blah blah blah, and then like, no.
I hate those movie moments.
But like, what?
I always wanted one.
No, I don't want it. I want you to know right now. Mm-hmm. Like, Oh, you stuck your dick into someone else and now you feel bad.
No, like I never had anyone to really ghost me and then like come back to my life.
So you've never entertained somebody who's like pinged your phone after a certain
romantically?
amount of time? Yeah.
No, never.
I mean, like, what if it's somebody that maybe you had met on an app and, you know, you communicated a little bit, maybe you made a plan and maybe they stood you up, or maybe
I've been
it's even worse.
I've been in a situation where I've had a friend of mine come back in and out my life because, like, let's just say, putting out there, like, when I had my ex-boyfriend, we had a friend that would come visit us and things would happen. Okay.
All right.
Wait.
Okay. I'm only laughing because of the way you put it. I'm not like judging that at all.
No.
It was just funny.
Love it.
There was we had a really close friendship and there was an arrangement, and even though I was involved, my friend was not. He was single. And so like every month or so he would come and visit us. We had to do our thing and then he would have to go back. And he would be like, we played like this whole like family type dynamic. We go out to brunch, you could hang out, watch Drag Race, blah, blah, blah. And then the moment he needs to leave, it's like, oh, reality sets in. I'm going back home single.
I'm not emotionally stable enough to ever do that with anyone.
I'm going back home single.
You.
Right. And I feel heartbroken because like I can't leave my partner for someone else. Yeah. And he knows I'm not going to. And I feel bad for him because like he's putting all this vulnerable stuff to me when he's in the moment, and then when he leaves, he's just like, I can't do this anymore. But he comes back. I'm like, if you know, and I say like, are you able to handle this going forward, doing this again? He's like, yeah, I can handle it, but each time it would happen.
That's a very different way of coming back too. Like that's like I'm ready to get hurt again, kind of coming back.
But it wasn't never intention to ever hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
I mean, he knew what he was signing up for.
Yeah, exactly.
And I hate using that reference because like that's been said to me before, and that's really hurtful to say to someone like, you knew what you did, like sign up for. Like, no, I didn't. You know.
But do you feel like he did though in this situation?
That he knew what he was signing up for?
Yeah.
Looking back, yes. You know what I mean? I felt bad, but like he just kept coming back to it until a point where it was like too much. Even for me, I was in a very toxic, chaotic relationship.
I hate those cycles too. Like when I feel like anytime that I've ever like let someone back in after like we've stopped talking, especially after like ghosting or getting into a fight, I feel like we then like just go back in this like cycle. Yeah. Like and then a nauseating cycle of just like the same shit over and over again. And I can't. I literally, oh my God. I could never fall back into that pattern.
And that goes back, this goes back to our first episode of Standards, like that trauma that issue that went with him. I was like, this is not what I want to do with my next partner, I want to be completely fulfilled with just one person. My foundation has to be so structured before even thinking of going outside relationships for like anything else. And what I was doing was coping. I was kind of like putting a Band-Aid over something that was not working in my relationship with someone else. And hurting them. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Looking back, it's fucked up. But they kept coming back. I was like, it's kind of flattering.
Not gonna lie.
I was like, it's
Thank you.
kind of flattering. And it was nice. It was beautiful. It was nice. And they gave me something that I learned about myself in the process. But, you know, no one's ever meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to hurt anybody. But they just kept coming back to it. And to a point where, like, I put myself in a very toxic triangle. I was like, oh, this is too much.
The thing is, like, those, it's hard to change the dynamic once it's set. And it's just like, and for me, I know when somebody is going to come back. I remember I was dating this guy years ago. We broke up, and it wasn't on the best of terms. It wasn't like we didn't break up with a bang, but I was not very happy with how he just kind of left me. I want to say maybe a couple months later, I was on Jacked or whatever, and he like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, all right, and I'm like, I'm well. Like nowadays I wouldn't even respond. But I responded, and it was just very much like, I'm trying to see what are you trying to do at this point?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to talk about how we left things, or are you trying to just pretend like nothing happened? Like, what is the reason for hitting me up now?
Yeah.
And I guess that, I don't know, that's always been my mindset. But there have been moments where I would like, and with the stakes were a little bit lower. You'll text somebody on like one of these apps, one of these dating apps or something. They'll like chit chat, or you'll talk, and then it'll go nowhere, and then they'll come back like a week later or something, and then it's just like, well, I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep doing that.
It's not even a week later for me. It's like so much. Okay, I feel like this happens to me with almost every single guy that I've ever dated. And it makes me think that there's something wrong with me because I just like, am I like always just gonna be like a second choice or like an afterthought? Because this happens so often, and it's gotten to the point where like I just don't put up with anymore. I'm just like, no. Yeah. I'm fine. Yeah. Like a guy will date. I am like, I get it. I can like come off as intense, but I'm just like very excited to get to know people and like spend time with them. And it's not like I'm like in love with you. I'm just literally so excited to get to know you. And I get it, and I try to cool it down, but like, and I know that I do definitely come off intense sometimes. But then like they'll say like they'll either ghost me or like I'm not feeling it. I'm like, okay, well I liked you, but like whatever. And then Mercury retrograde like decides to cycle back around, and they're always texting me. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry with the way things ended. Like let's like try again. Do you know how often that's happened to me? Really? It happened to me so often that one of the guys that had done it to me, I literally had no idea who he was. Because it's happened so often where they're like, I'm so sorry with the way that it ended. Yeah. You're such a great girl. I really want to see if we can try this again. I'm like, I literally have no fucking idea who you are because you've described the exact scenario I've been through at least 10 times.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm just like, that's so great. I'm happy for your healing journey, but I'm not the one. I'm tired of giving guys second chances, especially after they've like soiled their wild oats or whatever. Yeah. Like I'm over it. Like I don't want to be a second thought. I don't want to be like, I wonder what Renee's up to. I need to be at the forefront. Yeah. And maybe that's selfish. Maybe that's I don't know.
I don't think that's selfish. I think you just want to be valued.
Exactly. I want to be valued. Thank you. That's a really great way of putting it. And I think the only time that I've accepted, like recently, that I've accepted a guy who like came back into my life, I just made it completely clear to him. I was like, hey, thanks for apologizing, but I don't want anything serious right now. I really just want this to be a casual relationship, and I'm bad at casual, and I need you to just be my one casual thing, and that's it. So, like, you and I are friends, but there's no romance between us whatsoever. And he was like, great, that's exactly what I want to. And it went fine. I'm never hurt by him. I'm chill with him. I see him every once in a while. And that was like the only time that I've had like a successful like guy come back into my life. And it was literally because I don't want to have literally any feelings for you. Guys become immediately unattractive when they're just like, I'm gonna ghost you. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately unattractive. Sorry, I went on a tangent. Apologies.
No, not really. I mean, you're talking about ghosting. That's what it's about, you know? Why? I mean, we were talking about them coming back, right? Like, why do they always come back around?
Because they're bored.
And they're just like,
and they know
they
you.
Feel it. They feel it in their balls. They're just like, ooh, so and so is happy right now.
It happened to me recently.
I'm about to ruin that.
I met this guy online, and he was really nice, and he used to be a flight attendant. And
what was the eye roll? You got something against flight attendants?
No.
Oh.
They are true heroes. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I like flight attendants. So like it was me going back to him every time, and him being there, and like I would always be like vulnerable and hoping that we would like meet up and stuff. And then times when he was in the city out in the bars and I was working in the city, and if I knew he was out, I would like try to scurry to go meet him, or like not even to meet him to hang out with him, like meet him for a second to say hello or a hug and then go home. It wasn't like he wanted like to like have a drink with me or whatever, or invite me over to his house to have like pizza or something like that. It was always like separate. And then I found out like he got married to a Spanish guy. I'm like, what about me?
I'm Spanish.
I'm
I'm Spanish.
That's my food bubble. I'm like, I'm Spanish. I can cook. And so like, because his favorite food was pizza. Like, oh, maybe one night I'll come over and make you pizza. And then never happened. And like for years, like he would just make me feel like just had me on a string.
And it's so insulting. It's so insulting for them to literally text you and be so confident that you're waiting for them.
Yeah.
That is so annoying.
Insulting.
I used to feel that way.
You think that I'm just going to beam at your name lighting up on my phone?
I have to stop myself sometimes to be like evil when that happens, because I'm like, oh no,
and that's
I
because
actually was not into you. Like,
and that's because then
You become immediately so unattractive.
Yeah, because then I did not value who I was for myself.
Yeah,
like I didn't see like what I had to offer. And then now, recently, he messaged me and he's like, "I'm so happy with your life now, and you look great." Da 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 da. I'm like, "Thank you, I appreciate that. I wish
I would have said, "I know, right?"
Any rate?
I know, right?
No,
I was
like, of course now you say that now that I have someone, and you see me happy and what I'm able to offer somebody, and it's sad you're still middle-aged and single.
Oh wait, so he got divorced?
Yeah, because very quickly,
That's mean. I'm
very
so
quickly, very quickly. I'm like, what could have been? You know what I mean? He's a nice guy. I just felt like it's just, you know, like,
is he though?
That JoJo song, Too Little Too Late. It's like
Banger.
I felt good saying it. I was literally meeting my friends for dinner one night and walking the city, and he was messaging me. I was like, looking, when you said earlier, when you're hot, you feel hot. When you're hot, you feel hot. Good. I was like, and I sent him a selfie of myself walking to dinner. I'm like, and I looked good that night. I'm like, this is what I'm presenting now to my partner now. The best of who I am now today. What I present to you in my youth is not who I am today anymore. Yeah. Like I'm so, God, I hate this word, woke, of who I am, that like if I knew myself then I do now, I would be like, no, this is a waste of time. Yeah. But because he was pretty and white and kind and had air miles and just
stop.
You love air miles.
Oh my God, yes. Of course I do.
No, he was like
You don't like to travel.
He was like
I'm kidding.
He was like probably the most attractive man.
I can't afford to travel. There's a difference.
He was probably the most attractive man I was speaking to at that time.
Oh, it sucks when they're hot and they know it.
It's attractive. Yeah. He was a very attractive man. I was like, oh wow.
Like usually when a guy comes back in my life there and they I've lied like a handful of times and been like, yeah, I'm in a happy relationship. No. I am with my foul. I actually find it now just even more empowering for them to like I won't even entertain this. Like I could like yes, I'm single and I'm loving it. You're not coming at my peace right now. Yeah. I'm so great. Yeah. I love my dog.
That's how it felt.
Like I love my dog. I love my cat. I don't even no.
And he was like, I should have gave you the chance you deserved. I'm like,
oh,
honey.
Why did they all use that same line?
I was like, oh, really? Should I leave this guy for you now?
Right. I've never had that happen. I've never gotten that line.
You haven't?
No.
Really? Oh.
I don't know. It's a very like sweet and salty feeling.
Yeah.
It's like because you could say you never and you'd be like, oh, you mother, like you could have. Yeah. It's like that.
I know, like
I hope you don't ever.
But I also hate when they're I wish it could have been different. I wish I knew back then. It's like you did know.
You're such a great guy. Like I know I'm a great person.
I'm awesome.
Dick.
Anyone who meets me. That's not true. That's a lie.
Right. No, I mean, I think it's just because I am very just like once you show me who you are,
you show your ass.
That's like, okay, that's the cutoff. And yeah, you're not like I think that's why I haven't really heard that line, is because I will just block. And you won't get any access to
and
me
good
anymore.
There's only one guy I've like blocked like in my life, and that was because he was like abusive, but that's it.
Yeah. Wow.
And back then we only had like MySpace. So it's like I didn't have all these other platforms to block it.
I was not dating when MySpace was a thing.
I hope you never have to experience that, like someone coming into your life and be like, oh, I'm so sorry for not giving you a chance, whatever. Like, hope you just never experience that feeling.
Yeah, no, because it's like, it's not even like, even if they do say sorry and they even think that they're being genuine, it still feels like an insult.
It's a tactic to kind of keep that string there.
Get away.
And
I
always cut a string. And I keep trying to get my people, my good friends.
Yeah.
I want them to cut those strings, and they are very resistant to that.
Cut it.
Very resistant. And I know they're going to watch this, and they're going to be like, yeah, I know you're talking about me, but it's fine. I'm talking about you.
I'm proud. Listen, I'm actually pretty proud of my friends, except for one of them, and you know who you are, who is really good of just, a lot of my friends are good at just being like, okay, nope. Because I think I feel like women aren't expected to have such confidence in themselves to not go back to a person. And, you know, that's maybe a little sexist of me to say. Apologies. Those in the gay community as well. Sometimes the more feminine you are, I feel that they don't expect you to be as confident, especially being alone. For some reason,
yeah,
I feel, and I think.
I mean, I just remember. I'm sorry, like if I may interject.
No, for sure.
I remember I was dating this guy not too long ago. You know, I invited him to a party that we had, and he was around my friends. We'd gone out a couple times, and I was feeling okay about it. I knew he wanted to take it slow or whatever, but it was just like after that party, I didn't hear from him for like a month. But so I'm guessing at this point, like, you know,
one of your friends told him something.
No,
just kidding.
I don't think it was like that. But I didn't hear from him, and then like we went out to a club, and then all of a sudden he's there, and he pops up, and then he's just like trying to hang around.
Hey.
And
I hate when they give you a hug too.
Right, and I was being cordial. I was like, oh, okay, how are you? I wasn't like in my feelings about it because I was like already over it by the end of the month. I was like, all right, well, he's not into me, so I'm over it. So I saw him, said hey, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go about my business because I'm not trying to spark anything else here. You already showed me that you're not interested in whatever.
Yeah.
So like we moved downstairs, and then he was like still just kind of like trying to be in the group, and at that point
I'm like, hey!
I love the way that you because the way that you describe someone creeping with your body language is my favorite. Is my favorite because like I can literally envision them like creeping around a corner.
But that's how it felt. That's how it felt though, like, because it's like, bro,
like you season 5.
But that's how it was. And then it was just like, you
that's
can't
flattering.
sit with us. Like, you had a whole month. Like, you can't. And so, to end the story, basically, I want to say like a week after that, because at that point, I was just like, all right, I'm not even going to pay him any attention. I'm going to just go over here.
You became immediately more attractive. Immediately to him.
Maybe.
Because he was like, oh, you're like a nerd.
But like, it was like a week later, he texted me and was like, what you did was like, I expected better of you, and like he was trying to like read me. I'm like,
and really
sir.
For a whole month.
Okay, for someone who doesn't know him, too deep of a read, but also you are really good at giving like a cold shoulder, and like I mean this in the nicest way possible. You give a very elegant cold shoulder.
Was it
like I would not be surprised if you had.
Can you do it?
Wait, no. Continue.
Sorry,
You got one more.
I was just gonna say that you like. It would not surprise me if you had like a Cancer in your big three, because you project very well. I'm just saying, you probably could have picked up on something spicy.
Oh, yeah. No, probably.
Like, you vibrate your emotions. And it's easy to pick up what you're feeling, even with your face. Like, I can see
you wear your heart on your sleeve.
I can literally see it in my head right now. Jarrod was probably just you are a polite man. You have class. You are a classy gentleman, and you're probably like, oh, hey, yeah, no, it's so good to see you. I'm gonna go.
You go over here now.
I'm gonna be over here. Oh my god! Enjoy yourself. Enjoy this.
Enjoy the night.
It's for you.
Yeah, it's for you.
Right.
And this is great.
And then Oprah hug.
And then see him. I can see like this guy like creeping and like trying to get into your space, and then you're just like making eye contact like.
I didn't even make eye contact. I saw him once, and I just I know you know.
I know. I can feel it. I can feel it right now. And you're good. You have a Cancer. You have a Cancer in your big three because your projection of emotions and vibes is unbeatable.
Have you?
And that's why. That is why he probably texted you I can't believe you did that. I cannot believe you vibrated that energy towards me. How dare you?
Have either of you ever came across someone in a public place that you have history with, and you didn't expect them to be there, and have you do a run-in with them? What have you done? Or
I don't think that's ever happened to me. Honestly,
with your former flame or someone you had a crush on that didn't end well for you.
No, that's never happened.
I have run into someone like that.
Listen, you run into so many men.
I mean,
it's so funny. I'm whenever I hang out with you in a public space, oh, I know him. Hey.
I want to say it was you know how we have coming out day here in Philly?
Outfest.
I was trying to remember what it was. National Coming Out. Yeah, Outfest. So yeah, I remember running to this guy at Outfest, and yeah, I mean it was no issue. I can do a hello, and then I move on.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Oh, it's
the most
I don't want to be on the receiving end of that shit.
I hope I don't ever piss you off.
That is the most elegant off I've ever seen in my life.
Bury that.
Have
a nice
on the
day.
Other end, that hurt. Oh.
Yeah. Can you do it again? It's
I'm gonna stop you there.
It's no, I don't want any more water. I'm good.
Right.
It's very Jesus.
You know, it's good. I try. It's I just
good.
And I'm not trying to be nasty, but it's just I'm acknowledging you, but that's all you're getting.
I'll do you a solid and acknowledge your existence, and now I'm gonna go.
So what about the topic about us people coming back into your life? It will work differently between someone who's single and someone who is not single. In my case, I'm in a happy place. If someone came back into my life, I will listen. If they had something to say, I will obviously listen to what they wanted to say to me, and be you had your shot. This is my moment. Go have your moment.
Yeah. So is that at all with that? I mean, okay, so you're saying you're basically kind of informing them hey, I'm in a relationship right now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. As opposed to just not responding. Why would you why not just not respond?
I mean, because that also does feel really good. Of
both does.
Fuck off.
Both.
I'm happy now.
It depends how hurt that person made me feel. I feel if they did something to me that was unforgivable, then I wouldn't even respond to it. But they came into my life somehow and said something to me. I'd be I'm in a very happy place right now.
Yeah, honestly, I think it comes down to, do I have the energy to be a little petty? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got the energy. I could f around right now. Also, I think
I'm a Leo, so we can be petty.
We can be petty. I also just, I don't know. I think that I would have a different feeling about someone coming back with the way that, kind of literally bring up the same thing again, but the way that my other friend had said wow, I'm bitter friend, haven't been around, like, let's talk. Like, yeah, a guy has, like, sent me the paragraph of, like, oh, I'm so sorry the way things ended, blah, blah, blah. But, like, if they followed it up with, if they were, like, honest and, like, truly honest and just said, like, I did this, like, I ghosted you because of this. And this is, like, even if they said, like, I felt like I needed to still sleep with girls, I would appreciate that honesty.
Yeah.
I truly would. If he said to me, I saw you as, like, someone who I could, like, date seriously, but I wasn't ready for that, and I needed to f around and be a dick. And I'm sorry if that hurt you. Can I please make it up to you, and can we talk about it in person? And can you, like, I would really appreciate a second chance.
I really
you.
feel like it's all about how you approach
exactly.
the situation.
And especially if you approach it with let me say sorry to your face.
Exactly. And it's also, it's like, you know, let's acknowledge the space that I left it. Acknowledge the mess that I left. We're not sweeping anything under the rug. We're not paving over anything.
We're not let's not forget about that, because that hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt.
You know, so, you know, even if it's not as dramatic as, and I'm not saying that was dramatic, it's just like, you know, even if it's not even all that, just some acknowledgement, and then, like, you know, can we, I don't know, can we talk about it? Or let's talk about it.
I need to know the why. If you're gonna come back, I need to know why. Why did you do it? Why are you coming back?
Yeah.
I need you to be honest.
It needs to be clear. And that's the thing, is that it's funny because you start off on easy mode, but then when they come back, it's like they have to do 10 times. It's like it's a harder thing.
Sell.
Yeah, it's a hard, like, for the right people, and I'm not like, and there are a lot of y'all out there who will just let some people just come right back on in.
And you know what?
I guess we're not that way, and I'm sorry that you may not empathize with us at this moment, but I'm telling you, it, like, for some people like us, it gets harder. Like,
I'm an emotional person, all right? I don't like to welcome hurt back in. And also, like, I get it that, you know what, maybe it has worked out for some people, and I'm sure that there will be some people in the comments that are like, I accepted a guy who ghosted me back, and, like, then we got married and we're super happy now. Great. You are the exception. You are not the standard.
Yeah.
You are, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be the exception because it's an exception. And some people are just not comfortable taking that risk.
And if there was no acknowledgement when you let that person back and you living your happily ever after, quote unquote, I would be concerned about who else this guy is potentially seeing or what else he's doing, because it seemed, I mean, like, how do you not acknowledge some mess that you caused, or some pain or some hurt that you caused before trying to come back into my life? How do you then, like, treat me like it doesn't match up? The math ain't mathin'.
The math doesn't math.
It's like, you know, so now you have an agenda, is what it seems like. Because let's say, like, we were talking and I just ghosted you, and then I came back and I was just like, hey, I just did like a, hey girl, what's going on? And then you just decided to just let me back into your life. And then I ended up, you like, saying, hey, let's get married, and blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. I was just like, I love you
I would
so
feel
much,
like
so
on
I can't
my
even put
side,
myself in there. I would totally take you back because it's Jarrod.
Jesus. I'm just saying, like, if I were the guy that were just sweeping that stuff under the rug and just going through the motions, I would feel like, I don't know, I think I would have some kind of agenda if I were trying to do that. I would be like, okay, I'm trying to get married just to fulfill, you know,
Papers.
some kind of...
And you were the only one that seemed wife material because you were nice.
Right.
And you seemed easy to control.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, it's not about the relationship. It's not about how I can treat you. It's not about how I can make you feel better, or you know, it's not about that deep stuff. Because if it was, it would have been like that. It would have been about that when you contacted me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
And again, I acknowledge that sometimes timing is definitely everything. Like, you really could meet the perfect guy and his moment, you know? He could have gotten into, like, maybe he just got fired or something like that, and he's like really down on himself and, like, legit does not have time to even, like, welcome a new relationship into his life or something like that. And then he goes to you and he realizes, you know what, that was like a really good person and I want to go back because I ended things. Mm-hmm. I get that. That's pretty valid to want to come back. But as long as you're right, as long as there's not like an agenda behind it, and as long as it's an earnest, like, I want you back. Yeah. Then I think that those are some exceptions.
That's gotta be like up to you. Like you gotta be like, what's your purpose here now?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
I need you to fill out this questionnaire.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's up to me to ask that though. Because that's now I'm opening, like for you to say, hey, and then for me to be like, what are you doing here? Is now opening the door to conversation. I need you at the door saying, hey, I'm sorry, can you?
That's true.
You know, I open the door and say,
I kind of get what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah. I know. I feel like I do get what you mean. Yeah. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to ask you why you're coming back. You should already have acknowledged.
Oh, yeah.
You should have already acknowledged, like, I left. And now I'm coming back because
I don't want like, hey, how are things?
How are things? Yeah. Hey, you.
What's going on?
What's going on?
I had that recently with someone else recently, like a couple days ago.
Especially when there's not even a paragraph to explain yourself.
And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. I've been like, doing my own thing. I'm like, I haven't even noticed that you were not even around.
Yeah, do you think that I've like been thinking about this endlessly?
I'm also busy. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, you know, I figured maybe you felt I was like being weird. Like, I don't want to say this to be mean. Like, I don't think about you every day. Like, we didn't talk every day.
I don't mean for this to come off as offensive, but you're not important.
Yeah, I was like,
you're not important.
You're not relevant in my life.
You're not relevant. That was like,
I think the worst.
You were so 3 weeks ago.
When people overestimate like their
hold on
worth in your life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like the people that you're close to and all that. I'm just talking about like these fringe people. I mean,
Fringe.
I heard both.
My God. I was like, that's so mean. Not all French people are like.
French.
I love my French friends.
For real.
Fringe.
Put it in quotes on the
I'll put
video.
some subtitles there. I think what we're all agreeing on is to have some acknowledgement of the situation.
It depends on how they're coming back.
If you're going to accept somebody back, then make sure that there is some acknowledgement there first. Don't just blindly be like, hey, just like start going through those
I hate that.
An acknowledgement of what's going to be different. How are we not going to repeat the same shit that just happened that like hurt my feelings?
It's kind of weird because it's like, yeah, we weren't that deep in the first place. Well, sometimes we like it'll be a situation where you're like, you know, we weren't that deep in the first place, but for you to come back, now we're jumping into the deep end because now we're talking about some stuff where
it was. Listen,
it's like
you had access to the easy road, but you decided to take a really stupid detour.
Yeah.
And that's not my fault. I gave you the map.
And I'm not even saying like you have to be my boyfriend if you decide to even like hit me up. But it's like there has to be some serious intention. And,
yes.
Yeah. You know, let's work towards something.
I need to know what that intention is going into it. Mm-hmm. You know, your intentions can change, but be honest. Be honest with me. If you're not, I will key your car.
Mm-hmm.
I will key your car.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Legal reasons, I've never keyed a person's car.
And on that note, if you have no one else, you got us.
You've got me to key your ex's car. DM me.